Welcome back to the Quarterly Call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional.
You know, the semiconductor industry, it's projected to hit $1 trillion in sales by 2030.
Yeah, that's a lot of chips.
That is a lot of chips, but it's not just about quantity, right? It's about smarter chips, more powerful chips.
Absolutely.
And AI is kind of the driving force behind all this.
Yeah. Well, the overall market projections from previous forecasts are pretty much the same. What's interesting is that the mix is shifting. Like advanced logic and DRAM are going to dominate, and that shift is directly tied to AI.
So it's like AI is this demanding customer going into the semiconductor store and saying, give me your biggest, baddest chips, I need them. But why is AI so chip hungry?
Well, think about it this way. AI is basically training itself on massive amounts of data, constantly learning, constantly evolving, and that takes so much processing power, way more than traditional computing needs. And that's where advanced logic and DRAM come in. They provide the horsepower for all these complex AI algorithms to run. Got it. So it's like AI is this super athlete, and these chips, these advanced chips, are its like high-protein diet. But this need for more power is also pushing the limits of chip design, right? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a race towards smaller transistors, more complex transistors. It's like squeezing more computational muscle into these tiny spaces.
Fascinating. So how do we actually make these chips? What kind of wizardry are we talking about here?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. The magic wand is something called EUV lithography.
EUV. That sounds pretty high-tech. Break it down for us. What is it, and why is it such a game changer?
Imagine a laser.
Yeah.
But it's super precise. So precise that it can etch lines just a few atoms wide onto a silicon wafer. That's the power of EUV lithography. It uses extreme ultraviolet light, hence the name, to create these tiny features that are essential for building these smaller, more powerful chips that AI needs.
Okay. Officially mind blown, but I imagine this level of precision doesn't come cheap. You're right. Developing and implementing EUV technology takes a lot of investment. Building these new production facilities, researching new materials, constantly refining the manufacturing processes. It's costly. But the payoff is huge in terms of the performance and capabilities of these next-gen chips.
Makes sense.
Yes.
So is the cost of all this cutting-edge tech being passed on to the companies buying these chips?
Well, that's where ASML steps in. They're the company leading the charge in EUV technology, and they're not just focused on building these incredible machines. They also want to make EUV lithography more accessible. Their strategy: increase productivity and drive down the cost per chip, make it more affordable for everyone.
Smart. So it's not just about making these amazing chips, but also about making them in a way that's cost-effective.
Exactly.
That's a smart business move.
And they're also thinking about the bigger picture, the environmental impact.
Oh, yeah.
They're exploring ways to make chip production greener, which is a major concern for the whole industry.
Now, that's what I call walking the walk. It sounds like ASML is playing a pivotal role in shaping the future of the semiconductor industry. What are some of the key trends that we're seeing specifically in EUV technology?
One major trend is the sheer volume of EUV exposures needed to make these advanced chips. We're talking double-digit growth in EUV spending over the next few years.
Wow.
And for DRAM specifically, we could even see a compound annual growth rate of 25%.
Okay. Those are some impressive numbers. I've also heard some buzz about different types of EUV, like low NA and high NA. What's the difference, and which one is the front runner?
Okay, so think of it like this. Low NA is like the reliable workhorse, the tried and true technology that's currently used in high volume manufacturing. It's like the trusty pickup truck of chip making. High NA, on the other hand, is like the sleek sports car, offering even greater precision and resolution, allowing for even smaller and more powerful chips.
Okay, got it. So is high NA going to completely replace low NA, or is it more like having different tools for different jobs?
It's definitely about having the right tool for the job. Both low NA and high NA have their own strengths and applications, and the industry recognizes that. What's really exciting is that ASML is working on this modular platform that can use both types of optics.
Oh, wow. So it's like having a factory that can seamlessly switch between producing pickup trucks and sports cars, depending on demand. That's a pretty ingenious approach. But with all this talk about advanced technology and cost efficiency, what about the environmental impact of this whole chip-making frenzy?
Yeah, you're hitting on a crucial point. The drive for smaller, more powerful chips definitely comes with environmental challenges. Developing and implementing these technologies, it uses a lot of energy. and resources.
So how is ASML tackling these challenges? Are they just passing the buck down the line?
Actually, they're taking a very proactive approach. They're not just focused on making chips cheaper, they're also looking at ways to make the whole production process greener, exploring everything from reducing energy consumption to using more sustainable materials.
Okay, good. That's encouraging to hear. It sounds like they're genuinely committed to finding sustainable solutions. But what else is happening beyond EUV? What other innovations are shaping the future of chip manufacturing?
One really interesting area is wafer bonding. It's a technique that's becoming increasingly important, especially for making DRAM.
Wafer bonding. Okay. You're going to have to break that down for me. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Imagine you have two really thin wafers, each with a network of transistors on them, and then you bond these wafers together to create one superchip. That's wafer bonding in a nutshell. It's a delicate and complex process, but it offers some significant advantages in terms of performance and efficiency.
So it's like building a skyscraper of chips instead of just spreading them out on one layer.
Exactly. Wafer bonding allows for 3D integration. You're essentially stacking components vertically to create a much denser chip architecture. This is especially beneficial for DRAM, where you can stack memory cells on top of each other to increase memory capacity without making the chip bigger.
That makes sense. But I'm guessing bonding two incredibly thin wafers together must come with its own set of challenges.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's not without its hurdles. Bonding two wafers together can cause stress and distortions, which can affect the performance and reliability of the chips.
So how do they overcome these challenges? It seems like a delicate dance between pushing the limits of technology and making sure everything works perfectly.
Well, ASML has come up with some really innovative solutions. They call it holistic lithography, which is a comprehensive approach that uses advanced metrology and computational techniques to measure and correct these distortions.
Holistic lithography. That sounds very strategic.
It is. They're using incredibly precise measurement tools, sophisticated algorithms, and really meticulous control over the whole lithography process to make sure those wafers are perfectly aligned and free from any distortions.
So it's not just about bonding the wafers together. It's about making sure they're bonded in a way that maintains the integrity and performance of the chips.
Exactly. And this level of precision is really important for pushing the boundaries of chip design and meeting the demands of these increasingly complex applications like AI.
Okay, so this is all incredibly fascinating, but let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the business side of things. What's the financial outlook for ASML, the company behind all this innovation?
Now, that's where things get really interesting. From a business perspective, ASML has had huge growth in recent years, and their future looks pretty bright.
Yeah. We've heard rumors about record earnings and some pretty ambitious growth targets. What's the secret to their success?
Their success comes from their leadership in technology and their ability to anticipate and meet the changing needs of their customers. As the demand for these advanced chips continues to grow, ASML is in a great spot to capitalize on it.
So it's like they're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
With the right technology. They've got everything lined up for a blockbuster story.
Exactly. They've invested heavily in R&D, pushing boundaries in lithography, and now they're seeing those investments pay off.
Makes sense. Okay, let's get down to the numbers. What are ASML's financial projections for the next few years? Are they aiming for the stars?
They're definitely aiming high. They've projected annual revenue between $44 billion and $60 billion by 2030, with a gross margin between 56% and 60%.
Those are some seriously impressive numbers. What are the key factors driving this optimistic outlook?
The biggest factor is the continuing growth in demand for these advanced chips, especially in AI, high-performance computing, and data centers. As those markets expand, so will the demand for ASML's lithography systems.
So they're basically riding this wave of technological advancement. And they've got a pretty good grip on their surfboard. But what about competition? Are there any other companies out there trying to get a piece of this pie?
Every industry has competition, but ASML has a really strong position in the market for advanced lithography systems, especially in EUV. Their tech is currently unmatched, and they've got a solid track record of innovation and keeping their customers happy.
So it sounds like they've built a pretty solid foundation. What are they doing to stay on top? Are they resting on their laurels? Or are they constantly innovating and pushing boundaries?
ASML is definitely not complacent. They're always pushing forward, investing in R&D, exploring new materials, refining their manufacturing processes, developing even more advanced systems. They're also working with other big players in the semiconductor industry to make sure they're always leading the way.
It's like they're running a marathon and trying to beat their own record.
That's a great analogy. They know that if they stop moving forward, they'll fall behind.
I see. So what does all this mean for investors? What should they be watching for as ASML continues to grow and change? Is this a sure bet, or are there any warning signs to watch out for?
Investors should definitely keep an eye on how ASML keeps investing in R&D, and their ability to maintain that technological edge. Expanding into new markets is crucial too.
So it's not just about holding on to their current position. It's about strategically growing their reach and influence.
Right. But investors also need to remember that the semiconductor industry is cyclical. Chip demand can go up and down, and that affects ASML's revenue and profits.
Got it. So it's not always going to be a smooth upward climb.
Exactly. And global politics can have an impact too. Trade tensions, supply chain problems, government regulations, all of those can affect ASML's business.
Sounds like a complex landscape with a lot of moving parts, but ASML seems to be navigating it pretty well. But let's zoom out for a second and think about the big picture. How is all this semiconductor technology advancement with ASML at the forefront going to impact our lives in the years to come?
That's the big question, isn't it? All these advancements are definitely going to keep driving innovation across a bunch of industries, from healthcare and transportation to energy and communication. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah. It's like we're at the beginning of a new era, a new technological era, and semiconductors are the building blocks.
Exactly. And ASML, with its leadership in EUV, is playing a crucial role. It's amazing to think about how these tiny chips are having such a big impact on our lives. And to think that ASML is the company making the machines that make these chips possible. It's like they're the architects of the future.
That's a good way to put it. It's not just about the chips themselves. It's about the innovations they enable in healthcare, transportation, energy, all kinds of fields.
Yeah.
The possibilities are really remarkable.
Sounds like we're in for a wild ride. It's a technological revolution, and ASML is right at the front, leading the charge.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see what amazing innovations come out in the next few years. The future of technology is linked to the future of semiconductors, and it's an exciting time to be a part of it.
It is. Well, on that note, I think we need to take a quick break, let all this sink in. We'll be back soon to continue our journey into the world of semiconductors and the future of AI.
And we're back, diving deeper into the world of semiconductors. Before the break, we were talking about wafer bonding and the challenges of mechanical stress. It's like performing surgery on a microscopic level, right? Absolutely. It takes an incredible amount of precision to bond these ultra-thin wafers together without introducing any flaws.
Exactly. ASML has developed some amazing solutions to address these challenges. They're using these advanced metrology tools and sophisticated software to measure and correct for any distortions, even the tiniest ones that might occur during bonding.
So it's like they have this microscopic quality control team that inspects every gond and makes sure everything's perfectly aligned.
That's a great way to think about it. And this level of precision is absolutely crucial for creating these powerful and efficient chips that are driving the AI revolution. But it's not just about the technology itself. It's also about the strategic partnerships that ASML is forming within the industry. They're not trying to do it all alone.
Right. Collaboration is key, especially in a field as complex as this one. And tell me more about these partnerships. How are they helping ASML stay ahead in this constantly changing landscape?
Well, ASML recognizes that innovation thrives in an ecosystem where everyone shares knowledge and expertise. They're actively collaborating with leading chip manufacturers, research institutions, and material suppliers to push the boundaries of what's possible.
So it's like a collective effort, a meeting of the minds to tackle some of the toughest challenges in semiconductor manufacturing.
Exactly. A great example is their partnership with IMEP. It's a world-renowned research center for nanoelectronics. Together, they've created a joint high-NA EUV lab where they can test and refine new technologies. It's like a playground for innovation.
That sounds amazing. It's really impressive to see this level of collaboration driving progress in such a critical industry.
These partnerships are all about leveraging expertise to drive innovation and accelerate the development of new technologies. It's a win-win for everyone involved. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about ASML's business model and how it's contributing to their strong financial performance.
Yes. Let's dive into the numbers. They seem to be doing something right to achieve those impressive revenue projections. What's their secret?
ASML has a very unique and robust business model. They're not just selling machines, they're selling a comprehensive solution that includes ongoing support, upgrades, and a whole suite of services.
So it's more of a long-term partnership than a simple transaction.
Exactly. And that's a big reason why chip manufacturers are drawn to them. It's like having a trusted advisor and a partner guiding you through the complexities of advanced chip making.
So it's like having a VIP pass to the cutting edge of innovation. What are some specific examples of the services and upgrades ASML provides?
They offer a wide range, from installation and maintenance to performance optimization and software updates. They even have upgrade packages that allow manufacturers to enhance their existing systems so they can stay at the forefront of technology without having to buy completely new machines.
It sounds like they're taking a very customer-focused approach. They understand the challenges that chip manufacturers face.
They definitely prioritize building strong, lasting relationships with their customers. They know that their success depends on their clients' success. Now let's go back to those financial projections we discussed. Do you remember that projected revenue of between $44 billion and $60 billion by 2030?
Yes. Those numbers definitely caught my attention. What's driving this incredible growth? Is it just the AI boom, or are there other factors at play?
The increasing demand for advanced chips is definitely a major factor, especially in areas like AI, high-performance computing, and data centers. But there's another important trend that's contributing to ASML's success. It's called tech sovereignty.
Tech sovereignty, that's a new one. What does that mean?
It basically means that countries and regions are trying to become more self-sufficient when it comes to semiconductor production. Governments around the world are realizing how important semiconductors are, and they're investing a lot of money to build up their own manufacturing capabilities.
So it's like a global race
to
become a semiconductor powerhouse, and ASML is right in the middle of it all.
Exactly. And this trend is creating a lot of opportunities for ASML because they're the leading supplier of those advanced lithography systems that are essential for building these next generation fabs. They're not just riding one wave, they're riding multiple waves of technological advancement and geopolitical shifts. But of course, with any successful company, there are also challenges and risks.
Right. No success story is without its hurdles. What are some of the main challenges facing ASML? How are they dealing with them?
One challenge is the cyclical nature of the semiconductor industry. The demand for chips can go up and down, and that can affect ASML's revenue and profits. It's not always a smooth upward climb.
So it's like riding a roller coaster. There are highs and lows along the way.
That's a good analogy. They deal with these fluctuations by taking a strategic and long-term approach. They focus on sustainability and resilience. They invest heavily in R&D to stay ahead of the curve, and they're constantly innovating to anticipate future needs. They also build strong relationships with their customers to make sure they're prepared for any challenges that may arise.
So it's about building a strong foundation that can withstand the ups and downs of the market.
Exactly. Another challenge they face is the increasing complexity of the technology itself. As chips get smaller and more powerful, the manufacturing processes get even more difficult, requiring constant innovation and a relentless pursuit of precision.
It's like trying to build a house of cards on a microscopic scale. One wrong move, and the whole thing could topple over.
That's a great way to put it. But ASML is rising to the challenge. They're constantly pushing the limits, developing new materials, refining their processes, and creating even more sophisticated machines.
They're not just building machines, they're building the machines that are building the future.
Exactly. But let's not forget about the environmental impact. We talked earlier about ASML's commitment to sustainability. How are they putting those principles into action?
Right. That's an important point.
They're actively exploring ways to make chip production more environmentally friendly, looking at everything from energy consumption to using more sustainable materials. They understand that technological progress needs to go hand in hand with environmental responsibility.
It's great to see a company that's leading the way in technology, also taking the lead in sustainability. It sets a good example for the whole industry. But let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture. How do you see these advancements in semiconductor technology with ASML at the helm, shaping the world in the years to come?
That's a big question. These advancements will definitely revolutionize many industries: healthcare, transportation, energy, communication, the list goes on.
It's like we're on the brink of a technological renaissance, and semiconductors are the tools that will create this new world.
I like that analogy. It's an exciting time to be alive, to see this explosion of innovation and the potential of technology to change our lives.
Absolutely. And with ASML leading the way, it seems like we're in good hands.
They're shaping the future.
Let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed before we move on to the final part of our semiconductor story. Welcome back to the quarterly call. We're in the final stretch now of our deep dive into the world of semiconductors.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating journey so far.
It really has. You know what's amazing to me? It's how these tiny chips, these microscopic marvels, are having such a huge impact on our lives.
I know, right? It's so easy to forget about them, but they're really the engine behind so much of the modern world.
Totally. From our phones and computers
Oh,
to the cars we drive,
yeah.
even the medical devices that keep us healthy, semiconductors are everywhere.
And the craziest part, we're only just getting started. All the advances in AI,
Yeah.
machine learning, quantum computing, they're just going to fuel the demand for even more powerful chips.
It's mind-blowing. Like we're standing at the edge of this vast unknown territory. And these tiny semiconductors are our map.
That's a great analogy. And ASML,
Yeah.
with their leadership in EUV and that commitment to innovation, they're playing a huge role in navigating this new landscape.
And it's not just ASML, it's a whole ecosystem. Researchers, chip manufacturers, material suppliers, everyone working together to push those boundaries.
It really is a global effort. It's a testament to human ingenuity, that drive to explore and innovate.
Totally agree. As we wrap up this episode, I'm just struck by the incredible power of technology.
Yeah.
And that limitless potential it has.
It's a privilege to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Me neither. Thank you so much for tuning into the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.